Hey everyone, welcome to Listen Love Connect. I'm Savannah Paul Fox, your host, and today's guest is Ian Klingshirn. We will be discussing how mental health and dog training connect. Let's head over to him and find out more.
Listen Love Connect is brought to you by Exceptional Heroes.
Hello. Awesome dog handling dude. I am so excited for you to be here. We are talking about how mental health and dog training relate to one another. But before we get into that, how about you tell us about yourself?
Well, where should I start? Do we want to start with dog training or when I was born? Back in 1992. I'm just no, so
I'm like,
I'm
I
a
don't
dog
care.
trainer.
Go ahead.
Look, hey, how long do we got, right? We're here for the anyways. No, so I train dogs. That's a good place to start. I'm a human being that trains dogs. I got my start professionally in the Marines as an explosive detection handler, and then from there moved up to be a trainer for the military. Got out of the military, worked as a bomb dog handler for the civilian side. Got tired of doing stuff everybody else's way and started my own business, and here we are. So that's the professional side of the story.
That's awesome. So you started in the military with training dogs. At what point did you connect dog training and mental health?
Um, Probably when my mental health started just started tanking, and I started just relating things to dogs. You start when you're training dogs, you have to kind of take yourself out of everything going on around you, because the dogs, they don't care that you had a stressful day at work or that you have to pay a bunch of taxes or anything. Right? So the stress that we bring into dog training, the human aspects that we bring into dog training, a lot of time just hinder our own progress. And then our perceived failures just perpetuate us messing up and making things worse and yada, yada, yada. So recognizing that we have to be able to pull ourselves out of all of that stuff, and it's just focusing on me and this dog right here and this dog right here. We have to get on the same team, because I want to progress with you and you want to progress with me, but you have to improve. And that's where we get stuck. We're like, you have to improve, you have to improve, you have to improve. And the dog's just staring at us like, okay, but what about you?
Right.
And so the dogs, a lot of times they're trying to tell you like, hey, you could make some improvements too. Like you could have made that a little bit more clear. You could have done that, right? So for me, in the military, I learned how to take dogs and train them to fit the blueprint that the military needs for duty, right? For
Yes.
mission accomplishment. Training your dog at home is a lot. It's different. It's a different pace, a different environment. You have more time, and you don't have strict, just we have to do this, we have to do that. That's what your work is for. That's what your life is for. So for me, bringing just kind of downshifting and going into dog training and kind of just poof, forget about the rest of the world. Let's progress where did we leave off? Where are we going to progress? How are we going to advance? Nobody else in the outside world is going to tell us how we're going to advance, unless we need help from a trainer to teach us how to progress. But if you understand as a trainer, if you understand how to progress and advance all of these things, sometimes you're holding yourself back and your dog has your answers for you on how you can overcome your hurdles. And so, yeah, what you put into your dog is what you're going to get out of it. So for me, the dogs definitely act as a mirror. And so if you ever look at your dog, sometimes they're behaving a certain way. And it could just be triggered off of the emotions that they're picking up on in the room, right? Versus if you're coming inside, if you're coming home from work, calm, happy, you had a good day. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Woo, good boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You come home from work and you're stressed. You had a bad day, and just leave me alone. The energy that you're bringing in, and then like you're coming home, you're like, man, everything's dumb. This is stupid. And now the dog's being dumb. The dog's being stupid. The dog's acting like this. The dog's acting like that because he's concerned about your behaviors. Why are you acting like that, man? Normally you don't come home like that. So you have to it when it comes to having a dog and mental health and everything, what you bring into the house is what the dog will pick up on and will inadvertently, or if you're doing it right on purpose, you are going to be shaping your dog's behaviors. But if it's happening inadvertently, your dog is going to just be kind of responsive and reactive to you. And if we are just like, you're stupid, dog, you're not being good, that's just going to perpetuate all that. So being able to pull yourself out of it and like, why are you acting like that? Oh, why am I acting like this? You're right, my bad. That was work. I should have left that at the door. My right. And so for me, there dog training and mental health, there's so many ties. It ties in together. There's a lot of dots. It's just how many can you connect enough? How long does it take you to connect the dots to kind of piece it together? So yeah, I can keep going on and on and on about that.
By finding the two connections between dog training and mental health, how has it impacted you and your dog's relationship?
It's helped. It's helped because so in the military many moons ago, training dogs, we get these dogs, and ultimately as a handler and as a trainer, we are building a relationship with that dog, but we're building a working relationship primarily. The relationship we build with the dog outside of that is between the handler, that current trainer, and that current dog. But ultimately, the training that every handler and trainer does is generally the same. It's generally the same, but every dog and handler brings their unique variables to the situation. So in the military, we are learning how to build a rapport, build a relationship with this dog, and teaching them that doing all of this fun, crazy stuff is awesome. And it's part of our job, and we're really good at it. You're really good at it. And right. That's kind of the whole mentality behind it. But we're not living with those dogs. Those dogs stay in kennels. So they're not house trained. They're not trained to just kind of calm down and settle. Obviously, every relationship is different, and depending at the level of training you're at, and blah blah blah. There's so many different variables. But ultimately, when it comes to the relationship, learning how to shape a healthy relationship with a dog is dependent on the dog that you have. So if you have a working dog, you do have to fill that dog's needs. You have to meet the dog's physical and mental needs so that we are stimulating them, teaching them, enriching them, fulfilling them, and advancing them. Yeah. And then also showing them that, hey, we can just be friends and calm, like relax a little bit. We can chill. But sometimes we don't know. We know how to teach the dogs to do all these super cool, amazing things, but we don't know how to get them to just relax for 2 seconds. Work-life balance. You don't have to feel like you're in work mode all the time. You don't have to feel so energetic and do unless the job calls for that. And ultimately, in a working dog lifestyle, especially if we are performing actual duties and not just kind of doing it for sport, well, really in general, you want that dog to be amped up and ready to go. And we're not always looking for that at home. So we have to figure out how to control our dog and downshift. Like, yeah, I love that we're in drive. Let's go. But now we're home and I would like to rest. But if you're fulfilling your dog's, if you're fulfilling your dog, all of those needs, all you have to do is figure out this last little piece of the puzzle, teaching them how to calm down and regulate and settle. But if you aren't fulfilling all these needs and then you're asking your dog to calm and regulate and settle, that's not because they have all these needs and you want me to just settle when we're not going out and doing all of this. You have to be able to help your dog go out and do all of this so that we can come home and, oh, yeah, that was nice. I would love to rest with you. You're cool. I like hanging out with you because you take me out and do all of this stuff, but you also help me find a regulated state inside my own house. So the schooling and the training to be a handler in the military is teaching you the psychology and all of that behind how to handle a dog that is already trained. And then as far as being a trainer, we're training the dogs. We're basically like, hey, we learned how to handle the dogs. We know how these dogs are supposed to operate. And then if you do that for a while and then you go be a trainer, you're like, yeah, we know how these dogs are supposed to look. How do we train them to be that? So then we're training them to be that. But again, at no point in this process are we learning how to just teach that dog to just settle down and take a nap and lay with me in that process, in that environment where we are train, get the dog out, get the dog out, get the dog out. It's a different pace, different environment. When I got out of the military, I started going to school when I was a handler for the civilian side company. I was going to school for psychology, and my focus was early childhood development. And so a lot of the cognitive processes and how the dogs learn is very similar to how anything really learns at an early stage of life.
Yeah.
So how we are teaching the dog, you diving into the development and how I think attachment styles really kind of just stands out to me the most. Recognizing that a lot of our dogs' behaviors inside of our house are because of how they are connected to what they view as valuable inside. And if they value your relationship, how are they connected to you? How are they behaving? And so there's a lot of dots that to me, it translates because behaviors speak. If your dog is behaving a certain way, that is a form of communicating that dog is upset about something. My normal dogs don't just stand there and just shake all the time, right? Something along those lines.
Right.
We're not really taught how to handle all of that in the military. So the transition between learning how to train a dog to just do tasks, be focused, do this, and then teaching them how to be calm and regulated and just kind of go find something to moan and groan about in the background while dad is being an adult talking to the rectangle again, the shiny rectangle. He's always talking to the shiny rectangles. He's never playing with me. No, that's not true. But no, that's part of it. It's so understanding because the behavioral aspect of it is a lot of times I do with my military background. People are like, my dog's doing this. My dog's barking or whining or doing something like this. How do I train him to stop? And it's like they're coming to me thinking that I'm going to train their dog to stop whining and barking, but that is your dog's, that's how they are communicating their needs to you. The only way I can teach them to stop doing that is to condition them that they should never do that, aka stifling their form of communication, and that's just going to make the behaviors worse.
Yeah.
Or we can figure out what is causing your dog to be doing that. And so a lot of times people are coming to me, hey, train my dog to stop doing that. And I'm like, this is where I started connecting these dots.
Okay.
Is that people are coming to a dog trainer.
Yeah.
To I'm like, train your dog, right? And they're like,
Right.
yeah, train it to stop being a living creature. You want me to train your dog to stop being a living creature. And so for me, the shift started becoming, oh, the solution here is to educate you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't exactly know how to get you to understand your dog's communication. So when I got out of the military, a lot of my time was then kind of just spent learning, okay, how it makes sense up here.
Right.
How can I get you to understand that your dog submitting to you, they can't just be trained out of them.
Right.
You have to build a relationship with that dog, and that entails training, expending their energy and healthy outlets, so that they learn that all of this fun stuff ultimately comes from me. I am taking you to go do that, and also we have a good relationship at home. And so then we're starting to help them understand that, yes, you're super excited right now, but we can't be super excited right now inside the house because we just can't, whatever the reason is. So we're teaching them that, hey, pause, time out, lay down, bed, something like that. And then we have to recognize that my dog keeps showing me that they want to go play. They want to go play. They want to. Okay, so now we have to, okay, you were patient, reward them with going to go play outside and expend all those resources, or I mean, all the energy with whatever outlets we come up with, dog specific, right? Different
Right.
breeds have different needs.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make sure we're meeting the needs. But that's the thing, is a lot of people are coming to trainers saying, hey, I want my dog, I want you to train my dog to do all of this stuff. It's like, well, we have to basics first, basics. And the basics are relationship. You start with the relationship, you form a good relationship with that dog. From there, you can shape their behaviors to be whatever is conducive for your home environment, so that you guys can coexist with less stress. It just, every situation is different, but ultimately, again, we have to be meeting the dog's needs, to be asking them to just be calm at home and be okay with being stuck in a human house when I could be outside being an animal, right? So we have to get them properly conditioned to human society, human way of life, when their instincts are saying, I'm a dog.
Yeah.
And we keep telling them, stop being a dog. I don't like when you're whining and when you're upset. I don't like when you're doing all of these things because you have needs. Ugh. Yes, these things have needs. We have to take care of them. And so, yeah, I know I answered the question along the line in there. I know there was kind of a question. It just,
No, I completely understand, because I feel like a lot of people forget that, yes, dogs are animals, but we are too. And so there's a lot of similarities with dogs need to take care of their mental health. We need to take care of ours. And if you're an animal person, you can take care of your mental health while taking care of your dog's mental health. I mean, I hate walking, but my dog needs to go sniff because that is decompression for her. So me being out in the sun for 30 minutes is helping my mental health, and her sniffing is helping her mental health. So
another way I like to look at it too is, if you are bringing the dog, right? If a dog is not like properly domesticated and they're like, I'm still an animal and I want to be outside and all of this, being inside your house is uncomfortable for them, right?
Yeah.
It's creating all this pent up energy. So you're creating discomfort for your dog. So you you don't like walking. So your dog is forcing you to have to go walk, right? And so it's it's a give and take where, hey, you're kind of out of your comfort zone. If I love you, I
Mm-hmm.
say, if I love you, the least I can do is go out of my comfort zone for you. And
Yes.
so that's it's dogs present us with ways to be pushed outside of our comfort zone as well, while having a non-judgmental companion, a little sidekick to be like, yeah, I'm a dog and I'm your best friend. And I know you don't like walking out here. And I appreciate that you're doing it with me because this is creating a healthier bond for us and rapport and all of that. And then you go home, right? So yes, it's a give and take, and that they're here to kind of help us just advance ourselves a little bit, get ourselves out of our comfort zone. And also, we get to build trust in their abilities. The more we get out of our comfort zones and we're working with them and we see them advance and progress and make good decisions, wow, this is cool. We can go do more stuff, right? The possibilities are endless, man. This is crazy. All I had to do was invest in your emotional well being as a living creature. And now you're going to start listening to me? That's crazy.
Yes.
So yeah, I
So
love it.
with dogs, like I was saying before, like because I have PTSD, complex PTSD, and all these things, so I have to do things to stay grounded. And
Mhm.
because my love for animals has always been in my life, I use dog training and just being with my animals as a type of grounding. Do you do the same?
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's what all the dancing videos are.
I love you guys
That's
go
a
check out his TikTok because he dances with his dogs and it's fantastic.
so for me, dancing with the dogs, it's emotional regulation for me,
Okay.
because if I have these big feelings, and because same thing, my PTSD is a little complex too. So, but it's what we have fun with it.
Yeah.
So if I start having these big feelings, these big emotions, right then and there, you get caught in whatever's going on, and you get stuck. And
Mhm.
that it affects you physically, and your dogs can be affected by that. And so just like the example of coming in the door and being, hey buddy, versus, hey man, if I'm always like, yeah man, let's go have fun, go do training, he understands that, versus, I'm not doing too hot right now, buddy. And so yes, so getting lost, if I start getting lost in some of these bigger feelings, these bigger emotions and everything, or we have to help our dogs understand how to respond to us when we are in that state.
Mhm.
So he'll pick up. I'm talking about Gus specifically here again, because this is using it for grounding. So dancing and regulating myself. So if I'm having these big feelings, these big emotions, he can pick up on it, and he can kind of be like, you're not acting exactly the same. And so normally if I'm dancing and da 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 and he's having fun with it, he's like, yeah, this is fun. But if he's enjoying it. But if I'm kind of grumpy and I'm just like, I turn on grumpy music, right? I turn on, some villain Disney music or something like that. And you get in your villain arc and you start, rah, 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 and you start showing him that this is all part of the act, buddy. Like even though I'm upset, it's
Mhm.
all play right now. It's okay.
Yeah.
Rah, rah. And we're showing him, I'm going to feel like this sometimes. I am going to feel like this sometimes, but you don't have to be afraid of it. This is how you're getting them conditioned to, hey, when I'm feeling like this, everything's okay as long as you hear this music, and we're going like this, and ba 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 da, and positive reinforcement and play. He gets the same sense of like, oh, something's not right. And then,
Mhm.
oh, okay, we can kind of get regulated and da da, get some of this out, shake it out, da da, foot looses. And he was
Right.
upset. He's like, you taking away my dancing? I'm gonna go dance in a barn. I'm like, well, life is kind of freaking miserable sometimes, so I'm just
Yeah.
gonna dance with my dogs
There you
and
go.
then teach them how to listen through it. And so that's basically using it as a grounding technique. in that sense of really just trying to figure out how to get regulated. So instead of getting stuck in all of that stuff, boom, channel this energy into art. And the art is me dancing and moving. And then I like to think that Gus is watching me and he's just like, yo, teach me to move like that. And so he's just following along. So we're pulling ourselves out of the stress, right? Out of the stress of the day too. Same thing where it's almost like an immediate grounding thing. It's like I'm stressed at work. I come home and then boom, dog, I'm not stressed anymore, grounded. But another way too is when I start really getting stuck, if I do get stuck and I start getting lost, I obviously I freeze up, right? Your own responses.
Yeah.
So if I start freezing up and my hands start twitching or something like that, Gus is like, he's like, I got you. Save the day. I've conditioned him to do this where he just runs up and kind of just nudges me or does whatever. He's interrupting what's going on up here to pull us out of blah, right? This all sucks and it's making you kind of behave however you behave. And then boom, doggy. Oh, Gus, right, good boy. And so immediately from a training mindset, going from, I'm stuck in this, and then positive, he interrupts you, and you have to immediately recognize that this is a good thing. I should be reinforcing the fact that you just pulled me out of this. Good boy. You just, right. So that's, you're channeling all of that negative, and you're just like, good boy. Woo. You can cry with them. You can hug with them. You can start dancing. You reward them however you want, but you want, right? Because if you're giving off all these stress signals and you're reliving something that can be scary for a dog.
Yeah.
And so if the dog is deciding to come up and comfort you in a healthy way, we're reinforce and shape that behavior. And so, yes, the whole process is grounding because you're reconditioning. Yes, I have been stuck in these past mindsets and you're trying to recondition. Stop thinking like that. Stop getting stuck like that and focus here. Do something productive. You did it. You pulled yourself out of it. Be proud of your dog. Be proud of yourself. Write some notes down. Good job. Now, what are you going to do with this? What did you just learn? And you progress and you keep moving forward. And so it's for me, it's productive. It's proactive. It's mentally stimulating for the dogs and for us, right? Learning how to communicate with a nonverbal creature simply through it's mentally stimulating because we have to be in the moment. You have to, what are you trying to say to me? You have to understand what the dog is trying to communicate. And obviously not like, hey man, you forgot to pay your taxes. And I think you should probably do this. And those sweaters are actually pretty dumb. Hey, which one of you said that? I can hear your thoughts. Anyways. But no, so that's me projecting those thoughts. I love my sweaters. I don't care what anybody thinks.
I love it. I love your sweaters too. They're awesome.
Rejection, it's for me, it's rejection therapy. It draw attention. I normally don't like attention. I didn't like attention, social anxiety. And then I'm like, well, having a dog and Christmas sweat, I'm jolly all year round. And I have a dog. And people are like, why are you wearing a sweater in July? And I'm like, why are you not?
Right.
And they're, oh, bing, bing. Anyways, have fun with it.
Well, I've always been told that my mom always said that me and my sisters only fit in around Halloween time. That's how extravagant our outfits are. But we loved it. We had a great time with them. But like with you dancing with your dog, I don't dance, but I do get crazy with her out in the park, and then I'll just see people strolling by with their cars just watching, and I'm like, don't look at them, just keep going with my dog so that I can keep here in the moment and not care what people think.
It's exactly. And so it acts somewhat as, again, a form of, you have this fear of rejection or judgment, and the people are looking at your dog doesn't care.
No.
And if somebody comes up and they start asking you, why are you being so? does your dog look this happy? Because that's normally if you're doing it right and your
Right.
dog's listening and you're having fun, the people are like, I wish my dog listened like that. Well, you just got to do all this. It's like, I don't want to do that. That looks silly. It's like, well, that's on you.
Yeah, exactly.
I like I'm having fun. The dog's having fun, and he listens. When yours is pulling over here because they're like, I want to have fun like you guys.
Yes. So
Start dancing,
important.
and your dog will start paying attention to you more. But also, it's a game too, right? You have to make it constructive.
Yeah.
That's that's the common sense aspect, but I feel like I still have to put a disclaimer out there.
Um, any advice for those struggling with their mental health? Like
I
where to
mean,
begin, right?
yeah, exactly. The blanket answer is, I mean, just get help. Everybody needs help.
Hmm.
Um, there's probably a handful of people that watch my videos and it's like, man, I want to be like that guy. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I'm just making all this up as I go, and it's working. So the answer is to not be afraid to get help because I had to get help. I had to get help to get where I am. And it's a process.
Hmm.
Tackling your mental health is a challenge,
Yeah.
but it's a unique challenge designed just for you,
Hmm.
right? And if you really want to tackle that challenge with a non-judgmental partner, a dog is a great companion because they have their own stuff they're working on and you're working on your stuff. So that's it's finding whatever outlets you need, whatever outlets, finding a way to feel comfortable and express your struggles, whatever that means for you. That's the most important aspect of it. Your emotion, if you're struggling with your mental health, it's likely because you have just so much going on that you're struggling to understand. So you need to find a way to express it. And if you don't understand what you're expressing, you need somebody to help you understand what you are expressing. And for me, that relates to dogs. If the dog is showing us behaviors, they are expressing their emotions through those behaviors. And if you don't understand the behaviors, you call a trainer to help you understand what those behaviors are saying. So, same thing. If you don't understand a dog's behaviors, you're going to contact somebody that specializes in dog behaviors. If you don't understand your own behaviors, you probably need to contact somebody that specializes in your own behaviors. And it's not always easy to open up, be vulnerable, and address your struggles. But that's what it takes to really heal and move past it. If you really want to move past it, it's not it's not easy work. It's not a cakewalk, but it can be done and it can be enjoyable. I promise you, it can be enjoyable. I watch some videos. I've been doing it. I've been doing it with doggies and dancing and just finding creative ways to, right. If I get a negative comment or something like that, and somebody tells me that what I'm doing is embarrassing, give me that negative energy. I'm gonna dance it out and make you look silly for making me think I'm silly because I like dancing with my dog and my dog listens to me. You goofy goober. Right. So we just find ways to just it life in general has, I feel like, has just been rough for many people. These past several years especially have been just a roller coaster on top of just lifetimes and generations of just garbage.
Yeah.
So we're all in it. We're all in this together. Get a dog. Right. So we start moving and grooving and get all
Yeah.
of our work our feelings out. And then, right, because then you express it, you get it out, and you're like, why did I feel so grumpy? Oh, because of stress and X, Y, and Z and trauma. And right, that
Yep.
part's scary. You have to be able to trauma. So if you can't handle that trauma, you need somebody to help you handle your trauma because it can get worse, right? So I hope that answered the question.
Yes, I think it helped a lot of people. It's just finding what works for you. And yeah, but like for both me and Ian, animals are, or yeah, I don't want to speak for you, Ian, but for me, animals are a huge part of my mental health healing journey, also therapy. But yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
where can we find you? Do you have well, I've been saying on here that you have TikTok and everything, but like what are your social media handles? Do you have a website?
My website is my business name. So my business name is CPR Canine Training. And that's, .com. But as far as like content and the videos I'm trying to put out are mostly going to be on TikTok. That's the important part of what I was trying to say. And then I got distracted by what else I wanted to say. But my videos are primarily going to be on TikTok and Instagram, which is Awesome Dog Handling Dude, which is ADHD. It all ties in together.
I thought that was super creative, by the way.
It was on accident.
Really?
Most of the videos I do spur of the moment, and people are like, wow, that was really thought out. I'm like, I put no thought into it whatsoever.
That's awesome.
The thought came to me and I acted on it. That was it. I was impulsive. I wasn't being thoughtful. I have so many thoughts up here, and then it's like, oh, a good one, act on it. And so anyways, you learn how to act on your impulses in a good way. The same way we teach our doggies to do that. Hey, do you have an impulse? Do you think we should be acting on that? It's called impulse control. It can be taught. But anyways, Awesome Dog Handling Dude on TikTok and Instagram, CPR Canine Training on the interwebs and Facebook. But I also have on Beacons too. My Beacons is somewhere. I don't know. I'm a dog person that started a business. I am not a business person that started doing dogs, if that makes sense. So I'm making up all the business stuff as I go, just like all the dogs and the dancing. I'm making it up as I go, and I can teach you how to do it.
There you go. There you go.
But yes, those are where I am currently.
And I'll have them all linked down below. Before we end, do you have any last things you would like to share? Something that I didn't ask that you want to bring up? Anything. This is your time to shine. Well, I mean, the whole
think
time.
First and foremost, I think the first thing we need to address is the fact that the best time to wear a striped sweater is all the time. So, people, that's my mantra for the time being. That's my current mantra, because I understand that people in their heads are probably questioning my sweater choices a lot of the times. And that's a reminder to me to just keep focusing on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I think if I could give anything to anybody, it's the mindset of just focus on whatever. If you're looking at me, and the sweat and what I'm doing and the dogs and all of that, just understand that focus on you and you can do it too. I started somewhere long time ago and worked up to where I am. That's what it takes. Again, I mean, you can go, I started TikTok in 2019. And so you can go back to my story and see how much I've changed. I learned it all along the way, kind of out of just survival mode, right? I learned that my nervous system was very unregulated. And so learning how to regulate your own nervous system and everything, that's kind of the hidden message in all of the TikTok videos, if you watch them all the way through. So I guess if anybody is really interested, that's the biggest thing, that there's plenty of Easter eggs, I guess. I like to make things interesting. If I'm going to give you a story, I'm going to make it interesting, right? There's too many boring stories, recycled, regurgitated storylines, and just do. We're going to do dog training right. Gosh darn it.
Okay. Well, it was great talking to you. I can't wait for everyone to see this.
No, thank you for having me.
In today's video, we learned about dog training and mental health and how they connect. Thank you guys for watching, but wait! Make sure to visit and follow these Instagram accounts. Check out my website, exceptionheroes.com, to learn more about my patent pending therapeutic device and to buy some Exception Heroes merch. See you guys next time, and always remember to listen, love, connect. Bye!